Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. Hey, it's that time of year. It's getting a little chilly. We're thinking, fall, and we might be thinking about our heater. Well, I have Joe Bechtold, president of AirSmart, with me in studio today, and you are a heating and cooling expert. I like the AirSmart. So, Joe, tell me a little bit about how you got started.
AirSmart started in 2006.
Okay.
So, and the story behind that is, here I am doing my custom home building business, and my son calls me up one day, and he's a heating and air conditioning technician and living in South Carolina, right near Charlotte, North Carolina. He calls me up and he says, "Dad, why don't you start a heating and air conditioning business, and I'll come be your service technician." And I said, "Oh, wonderful, that sounds like a neat idea, let's try that." So I did. We incorporated AirSmart in 2006, purchased insurance, did the registration, got it all legal and set. And then my son called me up and he says, "Dad," he says, "I've reconsidered. I kind of like the weather here better and I'm going to stay." So I have this business entity sitting there and no field technicians to do the work. So I thought about that for a while. And then I went back to my subcontractor friends that I knew, and I started networking with them. And I came up with 3 guys that had their own business that took in other work from other companies, so I started outsourcing work to them. And again, that was 10 years ago, and I've been outsourcing work to them ever since. So.
Well, that's great. It was kind of a little bit helpful that your son called up and said, "Hey, let's do this," and, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm not going to do this," but it was good for you to get moving on this new company.
Yeah, the timing was incredible because as things turned out in 2008 when the economy went south, I already had something else set up and going. So.
Well, and I bet the construction background helps you with the heating and cooling.
It does. I had a prior knowledge of it. I'm not a service technician myself, but I had a good general knowledge of the field.
Now, you mentioned the word that you outsource. You outsource it. So, but you outsource the installation.
Correct.
So, tell me a little bit about that.
We first started outsourcing in 2006. We did outsourced service work as well at that point because I didn't have any service technicians. But then soon after that, I got my own service technician. So we do all the service work in-house, and we outsource the installations. And over the years, I've developed real confidence in the team that I have doing my installations. And the proof there is if you look online at Google or Yelp or Angie's List, the constant 5-star reviews that AirSmart reviews that gets is proof that they're doing a good job. And I don't have any issues at all outsourcing work to them because time and time again they do a perfect job for me.
Well, and it's funny, I would not have thought to do that. I would just think you want to install it in service, but it's really 2 different sets of skills. It
is. And again, if you're taking your service technicians and using them as installers, then when the phone rings for a service call, then you're juggling who gets what. Mm-hmm. So for me, it works out better to have a separate team that does my installations. They do it well. They're good at it. That's what they do. They go in and do it, get it done, and they leave the house just as clean or cleaner than they find it when they go in. So and it's they're just an amazing team.
Now, I like the name of the company, AirSmart, mm-hmm. and it makes me think about how the industry is changing and that you're putting in smart heaters and smart air conditioners. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, everything's going digital now. There's circuit boards in both your furnace and your AC, and, mm-hmm. and you need specialized equipment to test and diagnose those, and you need technicians that are trained to use those things. So that's where everything's going, and that's what we have. We have all the digital equipment, and we have the technicians that can use it.
And many of us don't think about you until we have a problem with our heater or our air conditioner. But you also offer some maintenance plans. So what's your thoughts on all that?
We do offer maintenance plans. People are not torn, but it's split, I think, about 50-50 mm-hmm. on who likes maintenance plans and who doesn't. Many people love them and sign up every year, and other people you approach and they're like, "Oh, no, I'll do that myself." And that's fine if they want to do that. But I mean, sooner or later the phone rings when they have something they can't handle. Mm-hmm. So Just
Well-
as long as they call AirSmart.
That's right. Well, I think I think when they say they're going to do it themselves, that really means they may not do it, Joe. And that's,
True.
that's really just kind of waiting for you. But as everything gets smarter, just like our cars, there's soon going to be that we're not going to be able to service our own heaters and air conditioning.
Exactly. I don't service my own car anymore, and I used to. So
Right.
it's the same thing.
Now, you service about a 10-mile radius, and you're based in Wheaton. Tell me about that philosophy.
We do. We don't try to service the entire Chicagoland area because we want to know our customers. We focus right here in 10-mile radius. We know our customers, and our customers know us.
Well, I think it's helpful, especially because you get called 9 times out of 10 when we don't have heater, we don't have air. So we're needing to see you pretty fast.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that helps, too. I'm not driving an hour to get to a service call.
Right. So we talked a little bit about everything's going digital. What are some future thoughts for heating and air?
In the digital realm, outside of heating and air conditioning, it's interestingly enough, Google and Amazon are both getting into home services. And it's fairly new, but they're both getting into that area. What they're doing is they're positioning themselves between the customer and the service provider.
Okay.
And they're trying to get in the middle and, of course, add a fee for doing that by connecting the customer with the service provider. And what AirSmart is doing now, I'm not so sure that's a good idea. We're kind of watching it to see how it goes. But we've created a new program called VIP Option. And what that does is that gives you a pre-established direct link to AirSmart so that you don't need this middle person. You're already established and you know who you're going to call. And it's a cheap, inexpensive program. It's $39 a year. It's not an annual maintenance program. It's a separate membership with AirSmart. So you become an AirSmart member. And what you get with that, you get on our VIP list, you get priority service calls. You get a 10% discount on service calls. You don't pay additional for after hours or weekend service calls. And thus, again, is the direct link combination that you have with AirSmart. You're not frantically looking for a service provider at the last minute when something fails. You know who you're going to call because you've done that pre-established link.
Well, and I think that's really smart because you're right. We don't want to be frantic because we are frantic because the heat either goes out on the coldest day of the year or the air goes out when you've got a house full of people showing up in about 20 minutes.
Exactly.
And that's when I'm calling you, Joe. Joe, thanks for stopping by and sharing a little bit about AirSmart and what you do and getting us a little smarter about the heating and cooling business.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more Business Connections. Stay tuned.